Well, I guess it wouldn't be Fox News if they didn't take a tragic situation and offer a deeply troubling and dangerous response.
It's happening. You got trans shooters. You got riots in LA. They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. And what are we going to do about it? How much political violence are we going to tolerate? And that's the question we're just going to have to ask ourselves. And everybody's accountable. And we're watching what they're saying on television and who's saying what. The politicians, the media, and all of these rats out there.
Left-wing violence. What do you think of that message? And do you agree with them that left-wing violence is a problem?
There is no understanding, as we know publicly, of who this individual is, what their motivations were, where they came from, whether it is a member of Congress, whether it is the President of the United States. To assume and assert and cast blame when the FBI has failed to even apprehend the assailant is absolutely an irresponsible action.
After conservative activist Charlie Kirk was killed by a perpetrator that is still at large with their motive unknown, Fox News quickly pounced on the moment to escalate rhetoric that only raises the temperature in an already divided nation. During a segment on The Five, host Jesse Watters responded by claiming, quote, "They are at war with us," rhetoric that was echoed across the far-right accounts on Twitter and across social media, framing Charlie Kirk's death as some sort of evidence that political violence only comes from the left.
Trump gets hit in the ear. Charlie gets shot dead. They came after Kavanaugh with a rifle to his neighborhood. They went after Musk's cars. They just shot 2 Jews outside the embassy. Think about it. Scalise got shot, barely survived. It's happening. You got trans shooters. You got riots in LA. They are at war with us.
We're in a war. The left has been saying put a bullseye on Trump, a bullseye on his supporters.
Charlie Kirk's a casualty of war. We're in this country. We are.
They are at war with us. Whether we want to accept it or not, they are at war with us. And what are we going to do about it?
Again, nobody knows who the shooter is at the moment, unlike the person who just last month ruthlessly gunned down Minnesota Representative Melissa Hortman and her husband in a politically motivated attack.
Melissa Hortman was assassinated about 60 days ago. Remember that? Do you know that name? Melissa Hortman. I know you know the name Charlie Kirk. He was assassinated yesterday. Melissa Hortman was a Minnesota Democrat state legislator who was assassinated 60 days or so ago, along with her husband, Melissa Hortman. Trump lowered the flag at the White House for Charlie Kirk. I don't think he ever mentioned Melissa Hortman's name. He certainly didn't lower the flag at the White House for Melissa Hortman. Either grow up or don't.
But Fox News coverage was far more muted on this situation. If they did comment, the statements were cautious and there was little outrage and definitely no mention of anyone being at war with the other.
Have you called the governor yet or been able to speak to any of them?
I don't know. I called him. He appointed this guy to a position. I think the governor of Minnesota is so whacked out. I'm not calling. Why would I call him? I could call him and say, "Hi, how you doing?" The guy doesn't have a clue. He's a mess. So, I could be nice and call him, but why waste time?
The contrast is clear. It's not just selective outrage, but media strategy that amplifies certain tragedies depending on who the victim is. And the thing is, it's so wildly dangerous, right? We've seen time and time again how rhetoric like this can lead to even more violence.
People can finger point all they want. Look at the record. Look at the actions of what we are doing. I don't think a single person who has dedicated their entire career to preventing gun safety legislation from getting passed in this House has any right to blame anybody else but themselves for what is happening. When a politician tries to blame words for inaction, they need to look at their action and their record. Enough of this. This is horrific. This is awful. And the assassination of Charlie Kirk risks an uncorking of political chaos and violence that we cannot risk in America.
Just today, there was a bomb threat at the DNC headquarters. At the same time, while several historically black colleges and universities were temporarily shut down after receiving threats of violence.
Charlie was shot and saying that he deserved to be shot. The rhetoric seems to be only coming from one direction at this point.
Michael, and I want to update on the breaking news that we just brought to our listeners and viewers just moments ago. This is per a single U.S. Capitol Police officer source on site telling Fox News that there was a bomb threat made. There are dozens of police officers and MPD on site, but no big sense of urgency at this time. Reading this directly from our senior Capitol Hill producer. Pedestrians are allowed to walk right by the building right now. We do have some photos that we'll try to turn around for our viewers in just a moment. But this seems to be the update right now. A bomb threat was made. Police have responded to the scene. Michael, as I continue to report what's happening there, you just wonder if anything's going to change.
Meanwhile, if you look across the board, Democrats unilaterally are condemning this act of violence, calling for calm, unity, and respect for democratic norms, regardless of how much someone disagreed with the guy or not. No child should be rendered fatherless as a result. But contrast that with President Trump's statement, where he once again, with every opportunity to try to unify, divided.
To confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died.
Suggesting blame and grievance instead of compassion. In a moment that could have been used to cool tensions, he, of course, went the exact opposite direction, and his sentiment was then echoed by Republicans on the floor.
Well, what for us? Well, everything has changed. If we didn't know it already, there is no longer any middle ground. Some of the American left are undoubtedly well-meaning people, but their ideology is pure evil. They hate the good, the truth, and the beautiful, and embrace the evil, the false, and the ugly. And they literally will kill those with whom they disagree, just as their predecessor leftists, Marx and Stalin and Lenin and Pol Pot and Fidel Castro did. We must know that. And
the knee-jerk reaction when, as I said, the perpetrator is still at large shows that their response is not to do with facts. It's to further fuel the divide. When the one fact that remains consistent at the moment is what was used to kill a Democratic lawmaker last month and a conservative activist this week, a gun. We have weapons of war readily available in this country to make it easy for those who wish to cause harm.
A famous man was shot in Utah today, a friend of the American president. School children were shot here in Colorado today, friends to their classmates at Evergreen High. Each of their lives had worth and value that no other person had a right to try and take. But all of them, all of us, live in a country where too many are sick with the delusion that somehow violence is going to solve our problems. Specifically, that picking up a gun and shooting somebody is going to solve our problems. A country where anger is not just accepted, but it is encouraged, where talk of of vengeance and reprisals is now just openly seeping out of the dark corners of the internet and into the echoes of dark minds. It's a sickness that cannot be isolated, not to one kind of community, not to one kind of school, not to one type of political ideology. It is everywhere in this country. And this thinking that violence, that shooting someone is going to solve a problem is a sickness that does not always claim the life of the afflicted. Too often, it's the life of someone else, which means that not any one of us, not a friend of the president or a friend to their classmates, is safe.
But instead of just thoughts and prayers like Republicans usually offer when it's, say, a school shooting at a church involving innocent children, they want to quote Jesse Waters here, avenge the death. Again, it's so wildly dangerous and it should never be normalized.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.